So the opening scene was really beautiful. It really made me think of downtown Center City, Philadelphia on a Saturday morning. And it's such a different vibe, especially if you work in Center City Monday through Friday. It's very 9 to 5, maybe even earlier. A lot of people, big crowds. And then to go Saturday morning, it's nobody because it's all office spaces. I always find it interesting to watch these older movies where they're sly about sex. After the opening scene, there's a man waiting in the car for her, which implies he knows where she lives because they hooked up. After that, when she meets Paul Varjak, she woke up in a man's dress shirt. And then even Doc carrying her to the apartment. Paul waking up in his room alone and finding the mask. These were the sex scenes. And it's either the sex scenes or their implied sex scenes. I really appreciate that. Now, I'm not like a prude. Like, I'm not a prude. I can watch like a sex scene in a movie, whatever. But I like the subtlety sometimes. Because movie is such a visual medium, there's very little space for the viewer to actually get to do their own interpretation. And because the times were so prudy, this actually gave the freedom to the audience. We can't give Mickey Rooney a pass for this. This is the director's biggest fault to me and to a lot of people, especially since the character in the book only lasted about half a page. This is really disgusting. It's stupid. It didn't add anything. The movie portrayal of Paul Varjak's introduction to Holly Golightly by ringing her buzzer to her apartment and waking her up definitely set a cuter tone and initial start to the movie. In the book, the first time the narrator meets Holly is when she escapes a drunk man in her apartment by climbing up the fire escape and climbing into his bedroom to escape the cold. I think the filmmaker's decision to do this just sets precedent to a romantic movie. They're already establishing similarities. I think the perfume in the mailbox was a subtle way of saying Holly is off the grid. She has no friends or family that write her. There is no letters, there's no correspondence, there's no contact with anyone else. She is on her own. She lives in this apartment that's unfurnished. This is her life. Another thing that the book didn't do that the movie did was the narrator wasn't a prostitute in the book. Was he a struggling writer? Yes. But I think the filmmaker's decision to make him a prostitute also, it levels the playing field and it also ties more similarities to them together. Again, excellent way of saying, hey, these two people are going down similar paths. I really like this shot, and I know now the director would have had the actor read the note out loud. However, a shot like this, you appreciate the handwriting, the invisible straight lines, the perfectly square card, and it forces the viewer's attention to the screen. I also like this shot of Bill's hands making the drink. Like, this could be anybody, but we know who this is. I think the character OJ is rad, both book and movie. I appreciated how the dialogue in the movie is true to the book. Here's a little cocktail tidbit for you. That cigarette holder is called a Quilizaire. So Sally Tomato doesn't actually make an appearance in the book with the exception of Holly telling the narrator that she visits him. I appreciate this interaction with Holly, Paul, and Sally in Sing Sing because it almost has like a fatherly quality to Sally Tomato, whereas in the book it was just she was visiting this man that she found sweet. And he was paying her to do so, obviously. In the book, she tells the narrator the marriage was never legal because when they got married, she was 14. And that really does change things in terms of how I viewed the movie this time. Before I knew this, it was like, oh, it's this man, he's in love with this woman, and he wants her back. Whereas now, it's this man who married a child. It's creepy that he chased her to New York. On top of that, he then threatened her by telling her that he was going to get in contact with her brother, the healthiest male relationship that she has, and tell him to rejoin the army or go homeless if she doesn't go back with him. It's also bizarre and gaslighting that he keeps referring to his kids that he had with another woman and calling them her children. Gross. No, 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 no. It's such a corny line. Anyway, I'll turn around myself. I love this line. This is my favorite line in the movie that wasn't in the book. That whole scene of me acting foolish saying, go watch that movie. I don't know where it is. This is it. This is my favorite line. And I appreciate that they both can see that, you know, they want to be with each other. And scenes like this, it made it very obvious that they wanted to be with each other. This is still one of my favorite romantic movies, if not my favorite romantic movie. So this is funny that I've never noticed the entire time I've ever watched this movie. But Paul Varjak pushes the revolving door for Holly, which is funny because the inventor of the revolving door created it because he hated that polite society mandated men hold doors open for women. If you don't believe me, Google it, but I still think that's pretty hilarious. Get you a Paul Varjak. Or don't come home. No, I'm just kidding. I don't get one at all. Yeah, the movie definitely did a better job romanticizing Tiffany's. I wish I was ballsy enough to take a tin ring into Tiffany's and say, or any jewelry place really, and say, hey, can you inscribe something on this for me? I accidentally Googled, will Tiffany's inscribe a tin can? And for the low price of $1,100, you can purchase a sterling silver tin can. What type of soup would you put in a $1,000 can? What type of soup would you put in a $1,100 can? You know, the website recommends pencils. Listen, there's no accounting for taste. And I'm sure someone out there is like, that's my jam, that's what I want, I'm gonna get it. But I think a purchase like this would, you could save a lot of money by just getting a regular can of soup, and then you get a free meal out of it too. She's a girl who can't help anyone, not even herself. Thing is, I can help her, and that's a nice feeling for a change. What does that line mean? And how is he gonna save her? He literally sold one story and now he's ending his contract with E2. I don't get it. I think this is funny too because now you got no clothes. You got no clothes, man. You just said, oh, take your coats back. Like, it's a baller line, right? To be like, I quit. It's always going to be baller to quit your day job to pursue your dreams, regardless of what your day job is. But you're leaping before you're looking. Like, you don't have anything lined up. You wrote one story. You just no. I know, like, everybody likes to critique this movie because she's a gold digger and she's just looking for a rich man. But you have to remember that in this era, women weren't really allowed to work. I know we see the woman cop at the end of the movie, but it's still very linear, right? They were still trying to push women out of the workplace. Leave It to Beaver. I did not grow up watching that. I know of it. I know it's black and white. I know if it came on, I would be like, yeah, that's what that is. Leave It to Beaver was actually propaganda to get women who left their home to go in the workplace while the men went to go fight in World War II, to leave their jobs to go back into the home. So anyone that has a problem with her looking for a rich man, that was the cultural norm. In fact, society wanted that. Around that time, it's still commonplace to beat your wives. So you don't want to be with someone that's doing that either. You had to be very strategic with who you married. I think part of the reason why I love this movie is the cinematography and the artistry of all of this. It works so well in terms of like in a romantic movie because of scenes like this. So unlike the book, I would say the movie is about a man and a woman who are struggling, who are trying to find their place in the world, and they find each other. And that's what the movie is. That's why I said the movie is what it is, the book is what it is. I think they're both great. Whereas the book, she's finding herself. So in the book, her gift was a little saint medal. I think if you grew up Catholic, we all had one. The narrator made a comment in the book saying she probably lost the medal by now. Changing out the gift from the medal to the ring, and then her putting the ring on her left ring finger was definitely more symbolic of like this mutual love that they had. I think the filmmakers had to make that decision along the whole movie. So that's why those scenes of like, you know, them staring into each other's eyes and then the subtle kisses and, you know, her looking after him. I think those scenes built it up so we weren't surprised that they ended up together. In fact, we were rooting for that, right? Hey viewers, thank you for watching. You made it to the end of another video. You're the greatest people that ever existed. Obviously. Obviously. All right, I'll be talking to you later. Bye. I literally just stared at a light bulb if you were wondering what I was doing. And now my eyes are just dead. I'm exhausted and I'm not making good decisions. I was blinded by the light. I take my coffee black. Everybody scream. And my tea with honey. Like, even like Cher has a marry a rich man quote where she says, no, I am a rich man. And we all aspire to be Cher. These cicadas. We're filming. Thank you. Thank you. Keep moving. I am sleepy. I'm on 2 coffees. I'm shutting the window. Oh my God, I'm over it. And I'll probably take a nap, to be honest with you. I am so tired. What is wrong with my body? There's nothing wrong with your body. Stop going down this hole. That ain't for me, but live your life. New cut, new cut. You just didn't get enough sleep. It happens. It'll be okay. I just came up with that. I'll take $12 million. Saying she... We're so close. Should have read it. It's awful. That's awful. Awful. Screaming that thing that I just said. Ooh, okay. Why am I bad at this? Why am I bad at this? I need a drink. Yeah. That's it. Okay. That was a lot of talking.